Tegan Nox and Drake Maverick among the latest group of wrestlers to be released by the WWE. Will Ospreay is to face Trey Miguel and Blake Christian in a triple threat at Warrior Wrestling 17. Doug Williams is heading back to the USA for the NWA pay-per-view. Drew Parker has been announced for GCW's New Year's Eve show. Eric Young has been announced for Wrestle Carnival, Carnival of Champions, and a brand new promotion is bringing back Tuesday Night Graps. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TNT, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling. I am your host, the Great British Taku, Mr. Andrew Moore, and Eaton Most. And as always, my co-host is here with me. He is the Pro Wrestling T-shirt champion of the world, Big Daddy Dan. Daniel Allen, how are we doing, Dan? I've lost you. You've turned your mic off.
Oh, it's a brilliant start, isn't it? Oh, right, I am very good because I have just been on Graps Apparel's website, and at the moment they have got a couple of their T-shirts down to £5.
Oh, I better tell my missus about that. I really like the new Old English ones today. Have you seen those?
I have. They're £15 each. The original pink one that I have is down to a £5, and the dark blue with the orange is down to a £5, and the pink back print is down to a £5.
Oh, I think yes, because these are the ones he's discontinuing. So these ones are never going to actually be available again, actually, once they sell out. So I'm pretty sure that is the case. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, Graps and Gary, but I'm sure I saw something about that. So go check out Graps right now. Great. I've always loved their gear. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Have you bought yourself something then?
I have bought myself another one of the pink T-shirts, but with the Graps on the front as opposed to Graps on the back.
Oh, nice.
I'm very happy.
Nice. Happy man. I am a happy man too. It is. It's not been a bad week. It's been a pretty bad week for WWE superstars, though.
Yeah, not fantastic. There has been another bout of releases, taking the total releases in the last year up to something ridiculous like 80 or something.
I'm pretty sure I heard 82 on, what was the podcast I like to listen to? The Squared Circle Psychobabble. I'm sure they said 82 people. Jeez. I mean, that's enough to start a couple of promotions.
Yeah, a couple of decent promotions as well with the people they've let go.
Yeah, a couple of really good promotions. Be interesting to see where a few of these guys go. I mean, Johnny Morrison. I was really certainly shocked about that. But of course, British wrestlers is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Tegan Nox, or as she will be once again, Nixon Newell, and Drake Maverick, who of course will once again be Rockstar Spud.
Yay! I love Spud.
It's a shame. You feel like they've been wasted because Drake Maverick could have gone to NXT UK, ousted out Skid Scala, and he could have taken over as a general manager for NXT UK. I mean, I love the fact that Johnny Saint's been, but maybe we could say he's been put into more of a administration or
an administrative role.
Yeah, and just have a proper on-screen authority figure because Skid Scala is seriously not one. And it'd be great. And Drake Maverick would be fantastic in that. As I say, we could talk about where to go. Nixon, Tegan Nox. She had a lot of injuries in the WWE.
She's been so unlucky.
She's been really so unlucky. I mean, I guess a slight frustration of mine is the fact that she didn't adjust her wrestling style. She always kept going, reckless. She was hardcore. She was amazing. But like the suicide dive, maybe things like that should have been retired from her moveset after the first injury. I would worry that if she goes on to some of the indie scene that she'll do too much, and I asked that she takes care of herself on the independent scene.
Yeah, we care. We want you safe and well.
Yeah, she's one of the best wrestlers. She's amazingly technically skilled. She can go hardcore. She can go intergender. She's just incredible. She really is. She'll be an asset to UK wrestling. If she wants to come back over here, we would welcome her back with open arms. She could have great runs with Progress, Rev Pro UK, TNT Extreme Wrestling. She would have I can imagine her being a great addition for them as well. And so many other great British promotions. Wrestle Carnival, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Drake on the other hand, Superstar Spud. Can he go for a wrestling role, or do you think he'll be best suited to go in and trying to be a general manager, a manager?
I think he could have a great wrestling role in AEW. AEW have done well with smaller wrestlers. And I don't think he'll want to come back to the UK. He's been in the US since TNA. I don't think he'll want to head back. And I genuinely think that he could do well in AEW. I think even on 205 Live, he's not been given the chance to wrestle the way that he can do, the way that we've seen him wrestle on the British independent scene. And I think that he could well be picked up.
Yeah, I think Impact again going home, well, going to TNA, going to Impact again, the X Division and so forth. He could have a strong, and obviously just the American independent scene itself.
In general.
Would be good. Tegan Nox, maybe she could go over to Japan to Stardom. I think Stardom would absolutely love her. She would be an asset to the AEW. Of course she would.
She would, but I think she'd fit in better in TNA. With the women that they've got at the moment, I think that she'd do very well in TNA.
Of course, one guy we didn't actually pick up when it was the last. It's almost it's horrible because I'm saying the last batch of releases, it's like some sort of. I mean, yes, I know they're a business, they're a thing, but it still sounds horrible. And of course, it was Davey Boy Smith Jr., who they signed and didn't even put on TV. He wrestled a couple of dark matches. Again, could have been a massive asset facing someone like Walter on NXT UK.
I could have been a massive asset facing anybody on NXT, the main brand.
He's going to be a great asset to NJPW Strong. That's where I typically see him. I think I can't see him really going anywhere else but just home to NJPW. I can
see him going to AEW and reforming his tag team with Lance Archer.
The old Killer Elite squad.
Yeah.
I was thinking he could do that on NJPW. But I guess he could do it on both.
He could do it wherever he damn well pleased.
Damn well pleases, because, yeah, he's 6 foot whatever and 200 and whatever pounds. I'm not going to say no to him. He can do whatever he likes. But, yeah, it's just such a... It's horrible to think, and we know WWE, it is just a business, and we've always got to remember that. In some ways, we've also got to remember we don't have real personal attachments to these wrestlers. Yes, we certainly feel sorry for them, but they'll all do really well. They'll all pick up great promotions.
I know we shouldn't go off subject to mention American wrestling because we are a great British podcast, but do you believe that they're getting rid of all these wrestlers to clear money ahead of a sale?
No, I just think they're clearing house. They've looked at their books. Everyone keeps talking about, this records profit this, is records profit this, because Peacock have just bought them for a certain amount. And obviously the other they've just bought and the new TV rights. Well, kind of guess what happens with that is all that money, if it's paid in a lump sum, means they're not going to be getting that money over a period. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be completely one big lump sum from all of these things, but that's certainly the way they would have put their books. So when you look at it that way, you can go, okay, well, what are our future things going to be over the next 3 years now that we've made all this big money? We're not going to be making that big money for the next 3 years now. We need to clear house a little bit and streamline our thing. And I hate to talk business, but that's business.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was a relevant thing to discuss. And may we thank God that WWE seems to have forgotten about NXT UK because they haven't let anybody go from there. So thank you, WWE, for forgetting about us.
We still enjoy NXT UK. Please don't axe it all of a sudden, because and all the best to Superstar Spud, Rockstar Spud, sorry, all the best to him, and we hope that wherever he goes in his future endeavors, obviously he does well. Again, the same goes for Nixon. Newell. Again, all the best to her. Again, we know she's going to kill it wherever she goes, and she will go somewhere. And then finally, of course, British Bulldog. All the best to him, and all the best to all of them. But if sticking on the British Bulldog, the petition that's still going around for the British Bulldog Senior to get a Hall of Fame star on the, Walk of Fame star for the Wigan Walk of Fame. That's still going around. I can't believe it's still going around. It hasn't been completed yet. This is being supported by Jurrasic Smith, who retweeted it again recently herself. British Bulldog was so influential to so many talents in the UK that he deserves to be on the Wigan Walk of Fame, doesn't he?
He should be, without doubt. He's one of the biggest stars to come from Wigan. So why he's not on there, I do not know. But if you would like to know more about the British Bulldogs, you can read the amazing new biography that is coming out, Dynamite and Davey, by the author Stephen Bell. It's going to be a full-on biography of both men, covering all of their wrestling life, from the UK to Canada to America to Japan, absolutely everywhere. It's going to be brilliant. Stephen Bell's previously written an excellent wrestling book about a gentleman called Douglas Dougie Clark, who played rugby league and was a professional wrestler and a soldier in World War II. Well worth a read on that. And we are going to be interviewing Stephen Bell very, very soon as one of our guests on our specials that we do.
Indeed. Ever since we had our first guest, I've always wanted to get a historian or somebody who knows more about the history of British wrestling than ourselves. So this is going to be an opportunity to do that. I can't wait to hear his Mount Rushton picks.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
I'm really, really looking forward to seeing who he kind of picks out on that. If I had a wish, I'd wish it would be like two people who he felt that influenced Bulldog and Dynamite, and then two people who were influenced by Bulldog and Dynamite. It would be such an interesting dynamic. Really, really just looking forward to talking about history, British wrestling, and of course the British Bulldog and the Dynamite Kid, who were one of the best tag teams to ever be. Certainly, they revolutionized the big man, small man dynamic of wrestling.
They did indeed, without doubt. So yes, that is going to be a fantastic interview. Keep your ears and eyes open, ladies and gentlemen. It will be coming fairly soon.
Within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Of course. Back to some British wrestlers. Will Ospreay, obviously the top UK guy right now. He is going to be at Warrior Wrestling 17. This is on December the 12th. He's going to be facing Trey Miguel and Blake Christian. Are you kidding me? That match is going to be nuts.
There is going to be a lot of bodies flying all over the place in that match.
I'm a huge fan of Trey Miguel, originally part of the Rascals, MSK now, the third member of their little trios. Phenomenal, talented. Probably, if I'm honest, the most talented out of the three.
I wouldn't argue with you on that.
Let's
have a little thing. I wouldn't argue with you on that.
They're all amazingly talented. Yes, they were. But I always thought Trey Miguel was kind of the standout. I think that's why he was the singles guy, while Nash Carter and whatever his name is on MSK are doing as the tag team. But yeah, I think Trey Miguel is an absolute superstar. Blake Christian, he did have that very, very short NXT run. He was one of those guys.
Blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, blinked and you missed it. Again, phenomenal athlete. So it's just going to be amazing. He's not the only Brit Wres star that's going to be there, as Carlos Romo will also be there. And he's going to be taking on, I think, is it Fuego del Sol? Is he part of AEW?
He is indeed.
He's Sammy Guevara's friend.
Recently signed in the last couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really seen much because I haven't really watched AEW for quite some time, so I haven't seen much from you. Have you seen much?
I've seen one of his matches, and he was on a level with oh Jesus Christ, what's his name? Penta's tag team partner and brother.
Ray Phoenix, seriously?
Thank you. He was on a level with Ray Phoenix. Yes, that seriously.
Wow.
He was phenomenal.
I mean, the whole card looks absolutely nuts. So I'll just quickly run down it and we'll move on. You have Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Martin versus Bandido, who I have issues with at the moment. So I would Armorous versus Lamita. Rocky Romero versus Casey Navarro. Brody King versus Sam Adonis, and then Chelsea Green versus Sky Blue. And it's an absolutely insane card. I mean, Dante Martin versus Bandido is going to be amazing. However, I don't think Bandido should be on the card right now.
No, he really has dropped himself in it and decided he doesn't give a toss about what people think. So
yeah, in fact, you know, we haven't talked about it on this show, and to be honest, let's just go away. Bandido runs a promotion in Mexico. It is a small-time promotion, mainly for his trainees. So remember this: young wrestlers, trainee wrestlers, and he employed Travis Banks a little while back. He put him on a card, a show. It was seen, it was seen. People told him, people messaged him. They told him exactly what had happened, why Travis Banks shouldn't have been on there. He apologized. He said he was sorry and all of this. And then all he did was put him in a mask and put him back on the next show.
Yep.
Ridiculous. Amazingly talented guy. Absolutely insensitive. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised when we're talking about people who burk Alberto Del Rio and others. It's not fair to those brave women, in particular one brave woman, especially with Travis Banks. And I'm sure there probably were others, but one particular brave woman who came forward and, you know, he was let go for a reason. He shouldn't be. I mean, we should be happy that they are in the worst and smallest of small promotions, but it's still, you know, the fact that he's working with young trainees. I've heard he's I don't know. He's working with young trainees is far enough. Anyway, NWA.
Yes, Doug Williams.
Yeah, I'm hot.
Doug Williams is heading back to the good old US of A as he is set to compete for the NWA at their next pay-per-view, Hard Times 2, against Colby Corino. That should be a great match. Colby Corino is a really well-trained, really represents the new breed, but still appreciating where he came from. So that's going to be a fantastic match on December the 4th. Also, former NWA champion Nick Aldis will be in action against fellow British wrestler Tom Latimer. Again, not a fan. And Camille will be defending her NWA Women's Championship against Melina.
Yeah, it's a huge card. I nearly wrote down the whole card, but it was just massive. I just thought, no, you know, we'll stick to the British guys. Amazing to see Doug Williams back in representing the UK over in the USA. Fantastic to see the NWA. I hope it builds to him possibly having an NWA championship run, carrying that 16 pounds of gold, much like Nick Aldis did. I'd love for that to happen. Doug Williams NWA run 2022. TNT support it.
Follow the ambassador.
Indeed.
Drew Parker is heading back to GCW. The former GCW Ultraviolet champion is making his return at their New Year's Eve show on Your Guest News
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's going to be nice and warm for Christmas.
It's going to be a lot warmer than it would be in Japan.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate quite how cold Japan is.
Well, it depends if you're right down on the south. If you're on the south, it's quite nice. On the real southern coast, Osaka. Beautiful place. And then there's a little island that's like really quite far away, and it's a tropical paradise. It's still part of Japan. But yeah, they haven't announced who he's facing or what he's been doing. But let's face it, it's Drew Parker. It's GCW. It will be ultra violent. I'm sure he probably have a match for that to try and go for the ultra violent championship again. I don't know who the GCW ultra violent, GCW already is kind of a hardcore promotion. It's one of these new promotions, and they have to have an ultra violent division on top of that. I actually know. I mean, Cassidy's been to quite a few of the GCW shows lately, so might have to thank.
The current champion is Masashi Takeda.
Oh yes, the Drew Parker actually lost the GCW title to him, so maybe there'll be a rematch for that. And yeah, it was sick and it was disgusting, and it was ultra violent. Anyway, Wrestle Carnival. Let's go. We've talked about the UK going to the USA. Let's talk about the USA coming to the UK.
Yeah, and what a gentleman it is that's coming.
Indeed. I mean, we spoke about it last week. We told you he was coming. Eric Young is coming to the UK. We said we felt we kind of knew who was behind it. So we mentioned we'd like to see him for. It has been announced. Yes, Eric Young will be at Wrestle Carnival's first show back next year, Carnival of Champions. It's going to be phenomenal. He's not part of the championship tournament, though, is he?
No, he is not.
He's going to be facing somebody. I wonder if they'll maybe put him up against Chris Ridgway. He's usually the one that welcomes people to Wrestle Carnival. It'll be a very good match.
I can agree with that, except that I'm sure Chris Ridgway will be in the championship picture.
I would have thought so too. I would have thought so, but obviously we have no idea. Gary Ward is, I'm sure he's got interesting plans for it all. And it's amazing to see him here. Of course, Gary Ward is completely he's doing the bookings on behalf of Eric Young. So UK promotions out there. If you want to book Eric Young, of course, you need to contact Gary Ward. And I'm sure he'll be more than accommodating because he's just such a great guy.
Indeed, and the news of Eric Young coming to the Carnival has piqued the interest of other members of his former stable, Sanity. Big Damo.
Yeah, I saw this because when the tweets came out, obviously everybody started, and Big Damo himself I saw interacting with a few of the tweets, of course, because Axel Tisker is going to be there. He's facing Joe Hendry. So yes, could we possibly see a reunion of the former Sanity boys in a former life, back when Axel Tisker was Alexander Wolf, and back when Big Damo was Killian Dane, and Nikki Cross, of course, is still over in the WWE doing. Is she still doing Super Nikki?
She is indeed, yes.
Yeah.
I would, for one, would be very happy to see Sanity getting back together, because I will see it, because I will be there. I have my front row ticket, and our third member, Mr. Stephen Souden, now has his tickets as well.
He does. I'm sure he's going to be super excited for that. Do you know if he's taking Jack this time, or is he?
Don't know. All I know is that I'm giving him, and if he is taking his son, a lift.
Indeed.
I got my new car this week.
Ooh, I am absolutely super jealous, but I have come to arrangement with my amazing fiance, as I am getting married next year in June. I've made a promise that there'll be no more wrestling shows in the new year till June. After that, I'm free to go to as many as I like. And what I'm really pushing for, I'm really hoping for, one is got to obviously time right with, is the WXW show in Germany as part of my honeymoon.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Well,
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Oh no,
However,
she's happy with it. We've already discussed it. If there is a WXW show, either sort of like the weekend before, because we'll be doing our honeymoon in Portugal, which is somewhere we've holidayed before, so we're going to be repeating that for our honeymoon. And of course, Germany's just a hop away from there. So if there's one kind of just before or just after, we'll fly from UK to Germany to Portugal, or from Portugal to Germany.
Let's jump straight to Germany now. Let's jump to WXW.
Oh yeah, why not? Because we mentioned him, Axel Tischer, and he is going to be defending his WXW Unified World Championship. This is going to be on the 18th of December. There, I think it's their 21st anniversary show. I think I got that wrong. And he's going to be facing Jurn Simmons, the big bad Dutchman, who was recently in the UK. Actually, he was at Wrestling Resurgence today as part of the Into the Moneyverse, which I literally think Visage and Jurn Simmons had to dress like Gene Money. I've seen some of the photos. It's absolutely ridiculous. It looks Resurgence seems to be a bit like wrestling theatre.
Speaking of Visage, apparently they were on television on a Michael McIntyre comedy thing this week.
Oh, really?
Apparently so. I don't know any more than that. My son told me, so I will look into it and I will tell you next week.
Yes, that'll be interesting. We'll tell people to go see it, because Visage, obviously, she is a breakthrough character. She is representing. They are representing. I apologize. They are representing themselves, and obviously the community, and it's amazing. And they're fantastic. They really are. They got a huge matchup against Chris Ridgway soon, so looking forward to that one.
Yeah, on a program called The Wheel.
Okay, interesting.
There you go.
So, go check that out. WXW Germany, they've announced that there is the 16 Carat Revenge, which is on the 2nd of April in Frankfurt. Now let's talk about the really big news.
I'm going to let you cover this one because you've done all the research on it, and my God, you've done some great research.
Okay, so Modern Nomad Wrestling, a brand new promotion, and they are bringing back Tuesday Night Graps at the Frog and Bucket in Manchester. So Tuesday Night Graps are back. So this was TNG, so it was originally run by IPW, and they were always at the Frog and Bucket in Manchester. The first one actually took place in March 2018. The last TNG show for IPW was on June 2019. It was then brought back by Kid Lycos and Chris Brookes under the promotion Schadenfreude and Friends. And that's the German term for laughing at misfortune.
That's the one.
Yeah, I thought so. So Schadenfreude and Friends, which was, as I say, Kid Lycos and Chris Brookes. Now, the new promotion being run, Modern Nomad Wrestling, is set up by Kid Lycos, as well as LK Messinger, and then some guy named Kyle. Not Kyle Fletcher, that was made clear on a reply. And when they were asked why they did not use the Schadenfreude logos or promotion to start Tuesday Night Graps, once again, Kid Lycos did reply. It isn't Schadenfreude without the full group, and this is a completely separate promotion anyway. Myself, LK Messinger, and Kyle, not Kyle Fletcher, have wanted to run wrestling shows again and create a fun place for people to work and watch. And it would have been a shame for TNG to completely disappear. So he has brought this back. Now, there seems to be a fun promotion. They don't take things too seriously all the time. I saw the last show where it was an inflatable battle royal, which was won by Leah James, who was an inflatable shark. And she beat inflatable aliens and El Phantasmo and others. It just sounded like a lot of fun. There was also some sort of Chris Brookes gauntlet match. The final show by Sheldon Freud for the TNG. It was good. In Reddings, as it was Chris Brookes' last show. There was some sort of gauntlet match that he had, which consisted of time limit draws for a minute. So I think basically people were just brought out for 1 minute to beat up Chris Brookes.
It just sounds like my kind of promotion. And especially bearing in mind the first show, which is going to feature Ethan Allen as the host and feature the first annual Chris Ridgway is going to F you up Invitational Open Challenge.
Yes.
That's the perfect match for Chris Ridgway.
It is. And then you got the Aussie Open We Do What We Want Open Challenge. And then there's this a frog versus bucket scramble tag treasure hunt that will feature Gene Money, Riho, Big Guns Joe, and Nico Angelo as they face Luke Jacobs, Lycos Jim, and Mad Kurt. The full roster has been released, and you can check that out on their tweets. There's a little link that includes people like Lee Hunter, Dean Allmark, Rufio, Martin Kirby, Scott Oberman, Elijah, LK Messinger, man like the recent press, Egan. I just want to wish, Modern Nomad Wrestling the best of luck with this. It sounds fantastic. Maybe I'll have to check it out at some point. I could hop the train to Manchester, get a hotel overnight. It's a Tuesday, so they won't be that expensive.
Please, please, please put this on Powered 4 TV, please.
Yeah, I don't know how it was seen previously and what, but very interesting. It's great because it gives the guys another place to work and another day to work. Obviously, there are a few promotions that run like Thursday shows, but it's good to see that. But tonight, it's quite a special night for the WWE. It used to be one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. It was actually, typically, it probably was my favorite pay-per-view when I first started watching wrestling as a child. I loved the Survivor Series, really, really did. Boring now.
But, well, they got a Rumble this year, so that should be good.
Yeah, it used to go Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. But this is when I was younger. Obviously, things changed. But I always loved the Survivor Series to tag. And I hate the Raw versus SmackDown that they do because they just don't do it well. And they draft them like the week before. I'm sure somebody said the entire Raw team is made up of old guys who were on SmackDown just the other week.
It's not far off, to be honest with you.
So it just seems stupid nowadays. But I thought we could focus and we could do our own little version of Survivor Series. It's going to be a little mix-up because we're going to be talking about NXT UK, ICW, Rev Pro, and Progress Wrestling. Big Daddy Dan over there is going to be representing NXT UK and ICW, but I'm going to be representing Rev Pro UK and Progress Wrestling. Obviously, we have the main championship matches. We'll decide on what the best lineup probably would be in that bit. We've got the Women's Championship, Tag Team Championships, the secondary title, and then we've got two lots of a Men's Survivor Series and a Women's Survivor Series team. This should just be a lot of fun. So we're going to get it underway. NXT UK champion, of course, is Ilya Dragunov right now. And ICW's champion, are you going to just say it's Kes Evans for now?
Yes, let's.
Okay. And then, of course, on the other side, Rev Pro UK, on my side, we got Rev Pro champion Will Ospreay and Progress champion Carnival. I'll let you pick first. Who are you putting up against, Rev Pro or Progress? Who are you choosing? Who would you like to face Carnival, basically?
If I was going to choose someone to face Carnival, it would probably be Kes Evans.
And Ilya Dragunov versus Will Ospreay. Honestly, that's exactly the way I would probably vote these two. I think Kes Evans versus Carnival would have such an excellent story. And then, of course, Ilya Dragunov, Will Ospreay would just be an absolute battering of a brilliant match.
It would be phenomenal.
Okay, so the women's champions. Who are your women's champions?
My women's champions are Angel Haze for ICW.
Just because I know, I probably might not check it out, but she actually is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So we're going to have Angel Haze versus Mako Satamura. I'm going to go for. I think size-wise, they play up to each other perfectly. And Angel Haze has been focusing very much on her striking game recently. So I think that she and Mako in a strike-off would be well worth watching.
Now, of course, on my side, I've got Giselle Shaw and I've got Alex Windsor.
I know, that's why I left them together.
So now it's my pick to see who I would put again. So I would go against Mako Satamura. I would put up Alex Windsor. And it would be Angel Haze versus Giselle Shaw. How would you do it?
I just said I'd go for Haze and Satamura.
Yeah. No, because your guys versus my guys.
Oh, right. My apologies. I would go for Satamura versus Shaw.
Okay.
Giselle Shaw has had some great matches recently and can do pretty much everything in the ring. And I think she would show Satamura the respect for the first half of the match and then just batter her for the second half.
I think that would be a great match. I would, as I say, I would put it the other way around. So it would be Alex Windsor against Mako Satamura. So that's the way we'll be booked on the card when I put up a little flash card at the end. I think that would be a phenomenal match, Alex Windsor versus Mako Satamura. Don't get me wrong, Alex Windsor versus Angel Haze would be a fantastic match, but I also think Giselle Shaw would have a better match with Angel Haze. Tag team champions.
Yes. Do we have current ICW tag team champions?
Yes, the 9-9.
9-9, right? I was just
checking
in case
they're defending tomorrow, but you could have just said, the 9-9.
We'll leave it as the 9-9.
Could have been the Kings of the North, but obviously that match is tomorrow. But for now it is the 9-9. I know actually Rev Pro UK results that Aussie Open have lost them, but we're going to stick with Aussie Open for this. We'll also, and then on Progress, it is the Smoking Aces. There's a lot of good matches possibly lined up here, isn't there? Your picks this time. Who do you put against who?
Smoking Aces versus Pretty Deadly. I think that would be just phenomenal. And I would then put the 9-9 up against Aussie Open because they can brawl, and Aussie Open can brawl. And I don't think we've got to see Aussie Open brawl for a little while.
Yeah, Sticky Diver, very experienced, but very much of one of the, as you say, a brawling type wrestler. Jam Morris is just jacked. And I'm sure he's just a phenomenal athlete. He's a thing. I think I would actually book it the exact same way. So I'm glad you chose it that way as well. The secondary titles. Now, I have a problem here with Progress, as technically there is no secondary title currently. It used to be the Proteus champion. Well, first it was the Atlas, but they got rid of that one, and then they brought in the Proteus Championship, which was held by Paul Robinson, but of course Paul Robinson was called out at the early points of Progressive Return, and they just haven't done a new champion as yet. But I'm going to put Malik. He's undefeated, bar his loss to Carnival in that exhibition match when he first introduced again. So Malik will be the secondary champion. Rev Pro UK, of course, would be the cruiserweight champion, Michael Oku. And on your side, you have...
I have Noam Dar, and I have Danny Black. Daz Black. Daz Black.
Daz Black.
Really?
Okay, my choice this time. Who faces who? Oku versus Dar. Malik versus Daz Black.
I would agree with that. And Oku versus Dar, I would want to go half an hour.
Yeah, I think it would be an absolute phenomenal match. Okay, so I think now we've got all that out of the way. It's just let's talk about the Survivors Series themselves. 5-on-5. Who is your NXT UK Survivor Series team?
I've gone for not necessarily the main guys on NXT UK. I've put together a team who I think would be brilliant to watch. I've gone for the new group of Teoman, Rohan Raja, and Charlie Dempsey. And with them, I have put Nathan Fraser and a bit out of left field, Josh Morrell.
Certainly out of left field with Josh Morrell there. That's an interesting choice. It's a strong. There is a strong team, as you say. I love Teoman's new group. I know you didn't like Dempsey joining them. I think Dempsey suits them perfectly.
I knew you were going to be unbearable about this.
It's just we'll talk about, obviously. Yeah, we'll get on to when we do the review. I'll pick my Rev Pro UK team first, which is Ricky Knight. I'm guessing you're going with Teoman as your captain.
Oh, now there's an assumption.
Okay.
It's the correct one, but it's an assumption nonetheless.
See, I told you. So, Ricky Knight Jr. was my captain, my choice for my captain as the Rev Pro UK leader. And I've gone for the tag team of Doug Williams and Brendan White.
Right.
Doug Williams provides some experience. And, of course, Brendan White adds some power to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, I put the Prince of Pace himself, Callum Newman, and Connor Mills.
Connor Mills.
Shall I do my progress team and then you do your ICW?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so my male progress team is Chris Ridgway, Ethan Allen, Luke Jacobs, British Strong, Northwest Strong, of course, Warren Banks and Danny Black. So come on then, who's your ICW team?
I've gone for a high-flying team. I've gone for Telon Jr., Luke King Sharp, Jimmy Pierce, Luke Kairos, and their team captain, Adam Maxted.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So who are you going to go? It's your pick. So is it Progress versus NXT UK or is it Progress versus ICW?
It is Progress versus NXT UK.
And it's ICW versus Rev Pro.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's going to be there.
I can't wait to see Luke King Sharp versus Connor Mills.
Oh, that would be fantastic. As I say, I really look forward to seeing this card as a whole right at the end. The women's teams. Give me your NXT UK and your ICW women's teams, please.
ICW, I've gone for the She-Wolves because you've got to. Rio, so that I've got you before you use the
I figured you would pick Rio, so I made sure not to pick Rio.
Anastasia,
Okay.
And I'm going to have to change one of mine because Angel Haze is now in a different match. But I did have Angel Haze, so she might be pulling double duty this time.
Let's see who else have you got? Ellie Armstrong,
Plant-based powerhouse.
Plant-based powerhouse.
They have people come in for the tournament.
Who's that one that does the armbar? Emily Hayden.
I'll go with Emily Hayden.
She's pretty good. I think that's a power team right there.
It is very much so.
Okay, so who is? Who did you pick as your captain? Is it
my captain for that? No, you see, this is what I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for Anastasia because nobody gets on with Anastasia. So having her as the captain would cause so much hassle. It would be brilliant.
Excellent. And your NXT UK team?
My NXT UK team are our favourite, Aaliyah James, Nina Samuels, Stevie Turner, Ginny, and Blair Davenport. Now,
interesting to have Aaliyah James in with those other names that you mentioned.
Yes, because she is the only face in a heel team.
Mm.
And I'm going to make her captain.
Ooh.
With the least experience out of everybody. And I think that she will end up being last woman standing.
So you're saying the NXT UK team was picked by the general manager and okay, nice. I like that. Okay, I've got you there.
I did think it through.
Yep, no, that's not a problem. So my progress team is Laura Di Matteo, the returning Kanji, or what?
Yay!
At the moment, but Kanji, Alexis Falcon, Raven Creed, and Ronnie Knox. I think that's a thing. And for progress, I've gone all heel. I've got. Oh, sorry, I didn't choose a captain for that last one. So the captain would be Laura Di Matteo, and Kanji would be like the surprise person at the end. And for my, as I say, the Rev Pro UK team is more heelish. It is Zoe Lucas, Mariah May, Shakara, Debbie Keitel, and Sky Smithson. Now, my choice. You've got two really, really strong teams.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to send my Rev Pro girls after the ICW and the progress after the NXT UK team.
Ooh.
Excellent. So we'll have that come up. So our entire card is, see if I can remember this correctly, is Will Ospreay versus Ilya Dragunov. Kez Evans versus Cara Noir. Angel Haze versus Giselle Shaw. Mako Satamura versus Alex Windsor.
Yeah.
The tag team matches, what did we say? We said it was the Smoking Aces against Pretty Deadly and the 9-9 against Aussie Open. Michael Oku versus Noam Dar. Danza Black versus Malik. And then we have the what was it? We said it was the progress, my progress team of Chris Ridgway, Ethan Allen, Luke Jacobs, Warren Banks, Danny Black versus your NXT UK team of
Teoman, Charlie Dempsey, Rohan Raja, Nathan Fraser, and Josh Morrell.
Excellent. And then, so on that, put my Rev Pro UK team of Ricky Knight Jr., Doug Williams, Brendan White, Callum Newman, and Connor Mills versus your ICW team of
Telon Jr., Luke Sharp, Jimmy Pierce, Luke Kairos, and Adam Maxted.
Indeed. And then it was the Progress Women versus the NXT UK women. So that's Laura Mateo, Kanji, Alexis Falcon, Raven Creed, and Ronnie Knox versus your NXT UK team of
Aaliyah James, Blair Davenport, Stevie Turner, Ginny, and Nina Samuels.
And then finally, Zoe Lucas, Mariah May, Shakara, Debbie Kaito, and Sky Smithson versus your ICW team of
the She-Wolves, Rio, Anastasia, and Emily Hayden.
And that, my friends, is one hell of a supercard.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait to actually get it on the screen. You'll see it. And that is one hell of a supercard, to say the least. Anyway, let's move on to some real life things. Rev Pro UK on the RPW on demand service. The British J Cup has been made available. I did watch it. You were there live. This was incredible. Just so many great. I really enjoyed the opening match between Cleary and Oku. I thought that was really good. Of course, the Luke Jacobs Robbie X match was fantastic.
The Cleary Oku match was a bit pantomime.
It was, but I figured it kind of suited and it helped. I thought Michael Oku was just clearly the crowd favorite, and I think really played to the younger audience members who seemed to be really into the match. So it was really good. But how loud they were for the semi-main event of RKJ and Sunshine Machine versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. Amazing matches.
Now, the most important thing to ask about you watching this show. Did you see me?
I didn't, no. You did not make camera. Well, Andy out there, because he was wearing, obviously, a T-shirt. Get us on camera, Andy, so we can get on camera and get us advertised to your people. But I did watch the show that they had the following day, which was live at Not the Pit, which is actually live at the 229 at 54. It opened up with Sunshine Machine versus Destination Everywhere, and Sunshine Machine picked up the win.
Yay!
After a few mistakes made by Connor Mills and Michael Oku, Destination Everywhere, seeding little bits of, will they be breaking up soon? Will he be going after his friend?
Is there dissension?
There weren't really any dissension, but certainly miscommunication. So it's coming. It's coming. Next was Debbie Keitel versus Kyra Kamara, who was making her debut for Rev Pro UK. This was about 5 minutes. Kyra Kamara, to be honest, looked more impressive than Debbie Keitel. Yota Tsuji then took on Lucy and Phillips in a big, beefy, big man battle where they slapped and battered each other. And then Yota Tsuji did a shooting star press from... Amazing. I think Yota Tsuji is going to be one of the biggest stars in Japan in the next few years. He is going to be an absolute superstar. I love watching Yota Tsuji. Next up was Mike Bailey versus Luke Jacobs. Just so good. Obviously, this was the final two of the J Cup final. And so this was kind of half a rematch, if you like. It was just great. They really great. Luke Jacobs threw him around the ring and battered him with chops, and Mike Bailey flew around the ring and battered him with kicks.
I've had Mike Bailey's theme tune stuck in my head since the British J Cup.
I love the fact that he comes out to the Beastie Boys.
Yep, and it is properly stuck in my head.
Oh, I go, which one is it again?
Brass Monkey.
Brass Monkey. That funky monkey. Yeah, oh, that's fantastic. Up next, Brendan White and Doug Williams defeated the first of the new contenders for Rev Pro UK, which is David Francisco and Joshua James, certainly representing the heavyweights. The upcoming heavyweight, we've talked about it a lot. Heavyweight wrestling in the UK is having a massive boom period. Great resurgence. It's fantastic to see. I've seen David Francisco get a bit more freedom, not part of the contenders and other promotions. I think he's a phenomenal talent, and he'll do really well in Rev Pro UK. Then it was RKJ versus JJ Gale. RKJ just beat up JJ Gale for a little while. JJ Gale got some influence match, but RKJ pretty much just beat him up. United Empire then defeated the team of Callum Newman, Lee Hunter, and Robbie X. Now, of course, Callum Newman is the protege of Will Ospreay. So it started off with Will Ospreay trying to just tell Callum Newman to join their team, make it a 4-on-2. And you can see he's hesitant and whatnot, and then he's like, I'm Will Ospreay, you do as I say, and then that made his decision. What was brilliant is when they faced off in the ring and the crowd started to chant at Will Ospreay, you're an S Callum Newman, you're an S Callum Newman.
That's amazing.
So I thought that was just absolutely hilarious. So basically, they were just saying Callum Newman is better than Will Ospreay. But he said it. Will Ospreay said it when at similar ranges. He says that Callum Newman is better. So Callum Newman will one day probably be one of the best wrestlers in the world,
without doubt. Much
like his mentor. And then, of course, it was the incredible main event where Alex Winder finally defeated Giselle Shaw for the Rev Pro UK Women's title. We talked about it last week. But just so good. This match was 20 plus minutes of fantastic wrestling. That is one of the best matches I've watched in a long time. I don't mean to try and categorize it, but that is the best women's match I've seen all year.
Wow.
Hands down. It was just, Alex Windsor is phenomenal. Giselle Shaw is incredible. The match was great. It would easily be in the up in my top 10 of matches this year, without a doubt.
I will go out of my way to watch that one.
Go out of your way to watch that one. Amazing show overall. So much good stuff happening. Of course, we got the Yota Tsuji Gideon Gray challenge during that. We had Debbie Keitel do a promo. It was just a great show. I'm going to give it 4 sugars all over. Nice. Tell us about NXT UK.
NXT UK started off with Sam Gradwell versus A-Kid. This was speed versus power. I liked the way that Gradwell used his knee brace to grind it against A-Kid's face. I thought that was good. I loved the crowd chanting, "You're not Sheamus."
Yes, they were saying, they were saying, "You're a S Sheamus" as well.
Yep,
no, they were doing it the clean version, yeah. So,
yeah. The other thing that really stood out to me was when A-Kid locked on the omoplata and Gradwell escaped. It was such a smooth movement to get out of it and into the combination. I just thought it was brilliant. In the end, A-Kid won with an armbar.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this match thoroughly. Again, probably one of Sam Gradwell's best matches.
Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to probably say it's probably been his best match. A-Kid's just phenomenal as always, and Sam Gradwell would look really good in defeat.
He did indeed. We then had a promo from Ilya Dragunov. It wasn't all that in my personal opinion, but it built up the title match.
Indeed.
Leah James then took on Nina Samuels. One thing that I took away from this match was Nina Samuels doing the backbreakers on Leah James, where she did 3 of them in a row, just spinning her round, and it really showed the power. They haven't used Nina Samuel as a power wrestler, and to be honest with you, she looks like she's got more power than Danny Luna.
She's classically trained ballet, theatre, and all these type of things. And if you don't know, you're going to be in ballet. It's amazing strength of these people, these dancers. I love Nina Samuel. She's graceful. She's incredible. If I had a promotion, yes, she would be one of my champions. She would be my champion, no doubt about it. Leah James, though, is just so good. That hop from outside the ring, hop into a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Oh, just brilliant.
She has advanced beyond her years, without doubt. In the end, Leah James picked up the win with a small package, although I do think the referee was somewhat out of place at the end of this match. There was a big delay between Leah James putting on the small package and the count starting.
That girl's going to main event WrestleMania one day.
I would agree with that. Just one thing while I mentioned referees, something that I did notice was the referees' uniforms. Have you noticed the referees' uniforms now have the new NXT logo on them, the one that looks like the Nickelodeon logo from the 1990s? Thank you, Amy.
Oh, is that going to go?
Really hope not.
Yeah, it's a worrying sign, isn't it?
I think it's a very
one of the signs of the apocalypse.
I think what they'd have to do is take the NXT Heritage Cup and just dip it in paint or shoot it with a paintball gun or something.
Yeah.
But yes, that's just. It was a comment. There was then a backstage with Sam Grabwell having a standoff against Noam Dar and Shah Samuels. I would happily watch Grabwell versus Grabwell versus Shah Samuels, because I think they wouldn't need to wrestle. They'd just shout at each other. I think it'd be brilliant.
I'd love to just give me a promo off first. Just let them loose.
Yoga,
Eddie Kingston,
Mug,
CM Punk
Yoga,
style. Yeah,
Mug.
I think it'd be fantastic.
We then had a Leah James having her scrunchie stolen.
Oh yes, so Isla Dawn's trying to steal her athleticism.
All of her athleticism is in a scrunchie. This is back to the Nickelodeon comment I made earlier. This is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, just, back to the 90s version, not the modern scary version.
Yeah, I just did the Isla Dawn, this whole thing. I was a big fan of Isla Dawn until they did all of this.
Yeah. Saxon Huxley then fought against Cockroach Kenny Williams. I enjoyed this match. We'd already had a big man, small man match with Grabwell and A-Kid. However, I thought this was just as good. I think Kenny Williams is a very underrated wrestler. And I think Saxon Huxley... I know
it is big man, small man. It's different big man, small man, though.
Yes.
Because Sam Grabwell is far more technical, whereas the British Berserker is far more wild. And of course, the Cockroach is much more of a technical, sneaky, dirty wrestler, whereas A-Kid is a technical, speedy, athletic wrestler. So yeah, just an interesting dynamics, mixing it up.
And Kenny Williams win when he hit the bad luck face plant for the 1-2-3 on Saxon Huxley. Zaya Brookside was then backstage. It was turned out that she was late for her training, but it's all right because she had a note from Daddy.
Yeah, she doesn't train with those others because she's Zaya Brookside. She's special.
I think this has actually got a lot of potential, really good potential.
Pretty Brookside.
I'm hoping for a Robbie Brookside versus Mako Satamura match.
Trainer versus trainer, yeah, why not?
I'll pay to see it.
But that's her new name, Bratty Brookside.
Mandrews was then backstage and got interrupted by by Jordan Devlin, and it was much for muchness. Oh, good, we've set up another match. It'll be a good match, but Devlin's a dick. We then had Teoman and Rohan Raja versus Gallus. This is a proper tag team match. Yeah. Great tags all the way through, properly separated the ring off. It was a really, really good match. When Teoman and Rohan Raja hit the raised DDT, that looked nasty. That was a good move. And then afterwards, Rohan Raja got the pin, and out came Charlie Dempsey. Go on.
And the all-seeing eye, he sees all. So does his eyes right here. I told you it was going to be Charlie Dempsey joining the family. I think he is an excellent addition. I know when I first mentioned it, you were against this type of thing, but I think he suits them. They are hard-hitting. They are smash mouth. They love their technical wrestling. I think it's an excellent addition. And I look forward to this new trio running roughshod over NXT UK.
Indeed. I think they will. I just hope Dempsey doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
I don't think he will. And then it's going to be pre-built in when Dempsey splits as well. You've got those built in, and they'll be great matches.
Oh, they will.
Unfortunately, we've got to put up with them against Gallus for a little while, though. Yeah. Yeah. Overall.
I think this was a good show. There wasn't anything that particularly offended me. I would give this 3 sugars.
I was going to say it wasn't a strong enough show to deserve more than 3 sugars. So I also give it 3 sugars, but in a different way to you.
Better than average.
Indeed. Excuse me.
Insane championship
ICW.
wrestling.
Go on then. Tell us about it.
First match, LJ Cleary versus Leighton Buzzard versus Jack Morris in a 3-way. Wow. This match was brilliant. You'd expect it with the 3 wrestlers that were in it, and this really showed what Jack Morris is capable of because he was technical the whole way through. There were some absolutely amazing interactions, some great drop kicks. There was a brilliant bit where Morris and LJ Cleary had got their arms wrapped around each other to do a shoulder takedown to try and a backslide. They're trying to both do a backslide at once.
Yeah.
Buzzard twisted them both over and pinned the 2 of them at the same time while they had their arms locked and got a 2 count. It was fantastic. It was just such a clever move. There was a brilliant bit where LJ Cleary was lifted by Morris up for a delay suplex into a Falcon Arrow. Again, brilliant move. Morris got to show his power, but still his speed and technical ability. And believe it or not, in the end, Jack Morris won with a sit-out powerbomb on LJ Cleary.
Interesting.
I wasn't expecting that.
Are they getting him ready for a singles run?
I think this was just to really push the 9-9 ahead of the Fear and Loathing match. And afterwards, Buzzard and Cleary both fought until referees separated them. And this has set up for them to have a singles match at Fear and Loathing. We then had the She-Wolves tagging for the first time in a long time against Angel, Haze and Rio. Good match. Again, much like we discussed the tag match with Gallus and Turman and Rohan Raja, this was a proper tag match, separating the ring. You wouldn't know that Haze and Rio hadn't really tagged together before. They were very good, very consistent and fast. Lots of power moves throughout from Molly Spartan. Casey got an absolute kicking in this match. She really was playing the face in peril without being a face. In the end, though, she threw double knees. They did a whisper in the wind, the She-Wolves, together, which was quite cool. Onto Riho, who was then hit by a spear from Spartan for the 1-2-3. Your winners were the She-Wolves. DCT then took on a Thatcher's Invitational match, where he was going to face one of Thatcher's cabinet, but didn't know who. And it turned out to be the British Psycho, Ian Skinner. Yeah, we like Ian Skinner. He's a nice man. No, he's an evil psycho. But he's a nice
You just
man.
say that because you represent the other party.
Yes, I do.
He's a lovely bloke.
DCT got taken down repeatedly. He got his power strikes in, but he was just completely covered by Skinner the whole way through. Skinner put on the Iron Octopus at one point, which looked absolutely brilliant. And then I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but Thatcher Wright got involved.
I don't believe you.
I know. He tried to get in and put off DCT. And then Charlie Weiss jumped up on the side of the ring on the opposite side, and Jack Jester came down because Jack Jester is going to be taking on both members of Thatcher's cabinet, Fear and Loathing, and he and Weiss fought to the outside. And then for the first time ever, Thatcher Wright passed his book into the ring when DCT and Skinner were down so that Skinner could possibly use it as a weapon or at least get inspiration from it, I think. DCT, however, picked up the book, hit Thatcher Wright and managed to hit Ian Skinner and get the 1-2-3. Your winner was DCT.
Say these dirty tactics of these ICW originals. I mean, it's not even his book. That book belongs to Thatcher Wright. And, you know, that's just... I would bring up criminal charges if I was Ian Skinner. You know, that was assault, you know.
Damages to personal property as well.
Exactly.
We then had the staunch superstar Jason Reed versus Darrow.
Okay.
Jason Reed controlled Darrow very much at the beginning, but then out of nowhere, Darrow hit an absolutely beautiful drop kick. Managed to get some strikes in on Reed. Reed took control again. And then Darrow went for another drop kick. Reed saw it coming and pulled the referee in the way, and the referee got absolutely clattered by the drop kick. And you know these referees, they are made of glass.
They are.
So he was down in the corner, and while he was down, out came Chris Bungard, the MMA fighter who will be facing Jason Reed at Fear and Loathing. And he went and he picked up Darrow in a show of sportsmanship, and then hit a huge side suplex to demonstrate that he's been doing wrestling training. He looked Reed straight in the eye, picked up Darrow and hit him with another side suplex, and then left the ring. Jason Reed, being an intelligent man, jumped back in the ring, shook the referee awake, and then went for the pin on the completely unconscious Darrow. So your winner by pinfall is Jason Reed.
Oh, there we go.
Our final match tonight was BT Gunn versus Telon Jr. Now, this comes a couple of weeks ago. They had this match and Telon Jr. won. This was a rematch. BT Gunn was able to show that he doesn't just rely on hardcore striking. He can wrestle. He's got a great mat game. Telon Jr. Was able to show his mat game as well and not just rely on his high-flying antics. You did get to see some of those, though. You got to see an absolutely beautiful snap suplex that Telon Jr. did on BT Gunn. And bearing in mind the size of Gunn, that was impressive. There was a show of respect at the beginning with a fist bump. And in the end, Telon Jr. was hit by the corkscrew DDT, the hydron that BT Gunn uses for the 1-2-3. Afterwards, BT Gunn spoke to Telon Jr., raised his hand, congratulated him, and out came Stevie Boy. Go out of your way, ladies and gentlemen, to watch this on YouTube and on Twitter. See what Stevie Boy does to beat down Telon Jr. and to beat down BT Gunn, because it comes across as truly personal. In the end, we finish with Stevie Boy standing tall ahead of their match at Fear and Loathing, which is going to be a King of Insanity match.
I can only imagine what that's going to be.
Hard hitting, with plenty of weapons and brawling.
Yes, I guess. I'm sure you'll enjoy every moment of it. When so what's going to happen with that? Are they just going to be run as ICW weekly as part of Fight Club? Are they just going to break it up?
I don't know. I'm hoping they'll show it at the pay-per-view, because you can already watch previous Fear and Loathing shows. There's 2 of them, I believe, that are available on the network. So I'm hoping they will show it as a full pay-per-view.
Yeah, that'd be really nice to see if they could do, but I guess no guarantees. How many sugars do you put in your tea?
For this ICW, because they had the women's match this week, which they didn't have last week, I'm going to up it, and I'm going to give 3.5 sugars.
Yeah, there we go. Not a bad episode of ICW Fight Club. Then, let's get on to some news. This coming week, there is so much wrestling. This coming week, we're going to try and get you through it right now. Starting this Thursday, actually, are going to be 2 huge shows this Thursday. Both FNW and TNT Extreme Wrestling are running shows. Let's look at the FNW Magnificent 7 show, which is in Eastbourne. So we got Mad Kurt versus Charles Crowley for the final 7th spot in the Magnificent 7 ladder match. You've got a female fight league match as Sky Smithson is taking it on Clementine. Neither girl has picked up a victory in this female fight league as yet, so one of these will be getting their first points. Clementine has had 2 losses so far. Sky Smithson has only had 1. Then you've got David Francisco versus Damon Moser. Heavyweights. They're going to be an absolute great match. Jay Joshua and Billy Haze are defending the FNW Tag Team Championships, and they're going to be facing Luke Jacobs and tag team partner of Keenan, another member of Northwest Strong. Chris Ridgway will be defending the FNW British Championship against Danny Black. And then, of course, there is the Magnificent 7 ladder match itself. Maverick Mayhew versus Big Guns Joe versus Kit Knox versus Mark True versus Callum Newman versus Joe Lando versus either Mad Kurt or Charles Crowley for the Z-Force Championship. Let us know your thoughts, Daniel.
Well, it's nice to see 2 people we've interviewed in that match. Possibly somebody else we may be interviewing, but I'm not going to say who out of the rest of them very soon.
Yes, we haven't got that one confirmed yet.
I reckon Maverick Mayhew is going to come out on top of this one. What's your opinion?
Let's have a look. See, no, I'm going to put my money on Callum Newman being the first new Z-Force champion. I'll put my part of my money on Charles Crowley winning and be getting the 7th spot. What do you reckon? Who do you think?
I think Mad Kurt's going to get the 7th spot. Charles Crowley is very popular within FNW. He was guest host for one of their shows recently, which you can watch on Powered 4 TV. But I think
a little bit of feedback on your mic.
I apologise. I think Mad Kurt will be the one to watch this time.
You think Mako? Certainly be interesting to see who becomes the who gets that 7th spot. Be a very fantastic match. I mean, Joe Lando, Callum Newman, Connor Mills. I'm sorry, Maverick Mayhew, because Maverick Mayhew is actually replacing Connor Mills, who was originally supposed to be in the match, but he's picked up a knock and will no longer be available. It's still going to be an absolutely fantastic match. Chris Ridgway versus Danny Black. What do you see in that?
I see Danny Black getting a kicking, bless him.
Yeah, he's had 2 matches against him on Progress. We have seen Chris Ridgway versus Danny Black before. I think probably get a bit more offense in, but I do see this going similar routes to the Michael Oku Chris Ridgway match very recently for FNW, available on Powered 4 TV. But I think it's just going to be an excellent show all around. There's some fantastic performers on that card, and Eastbourne, 25th of November. Also on the 25th of November, this time in Liverpool at the Fusion Bar nightclub, is Cold Day in Hell. Why don't you tell us about that?
Go on then. We're going to have Charlie Sterling versus Adam Maxted for a spot in the Fatal 4-Way Championship match. And that's a match that could headline on its own.
Really is, yeah.
Scotty Rourke will be taking on Kid Like Us 2 for the Ultra X Championship. Heidi Katrina will be taking on Chantel Jordan. Lizzie Evo versus Alexis Falcon in the Iron Woman match, the half-hour Iron Woman match for the TNT Extreme Women's Championship. I would love to see that match. I really would. And I will be able to, because it will be on
Powered 4 TV.
There'll be a fatal 4-way for the TNT Extreme Wrestling Championship. Nathan Cruz will go against Dean Allmark, will go against Dan Maloney, will go against Sterling or Maxted. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I think it's TNT Extreme. I think Maxted is more their guy over on TNT Extreme, as usually the third member of the Kings of the North. So I see Maxted giving a nod here and going into that main event and possibly going on to win it overall as a fatal four-way, looking at the names in there. I would either go with Dan Maloney or, as I just mentioned, Adam Maxted. It'd be very, very interesting. Good match, a strong card. And then there's one more match.
There is indeed the She-Wolves versus the new Sick Boys, Rory Coyle and Screwface Ahmed for the TNT Tag Team Championships. Also, Session Moff Martina will be there, as will TNT Extreme Division Champion Clint Margera.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's still got business to settle with Tyler Devlin. So we'll see if there is an Extreme Division match on the night. Who knows? It's TNT Extreme. Anything could happen. As you say, Charlie Sterling, Max said it could main event on its own, so it would be a great opener. And either one of those two is just going to add to that incredible fatal four-way already. Nathan Cruz, Dean Allmark, Dan Maloney, all phenomenal talents. She-Wolves, the tag team champions, of course, of TNT. Casey and Molly Spy, and I think that's phenomenal. I think they're going to have a great match with the new Sick Boys. I'm sure it's going to be a violent match with the new Sick Boys. I think she will retain.
I would love to see. Well, I will enjoy seeing this one, and Screwface facing off nose to nose, or at least chest to nose with Casey is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. And then, of course, that Ultra X match, Scotty Rock, Kid Lycos, two great young talents, and Heidi Katrina versus Chantel Jordan, again, very interesting match. So they are two fantastic cards on Thursday, one in Liverpool, one in Eastbourne. Don't worry if you can't make it to them, because both of these shows will be available to watch via Powered 4 TV. Powered 4 TV is the best place to keep track of all of British wrestling. There are some amazing promotions from across the UK, including TNT Extreme and, of course, Fight Nation Wrestling, but others such as DNA Pro Wrestling, Wrestle Island, This Is Wrestling, Ignite Wrestling Pro, and so many more. Recently uploaded just this week was Odyssey Pro Wrestling Set Sail, which saw the kickoff of their tournament to crown their first ever OPW champion. It featured matches such as RP Davies versus Sam Bailey, Rick Marcus versus JJ Webb, Sexy Kev and Mark Meltzer versus The Freak Show, Ryan Hunter versus Sandy Beach, 2-Bit versus Troy Ryan, Alexis Falcon and Gia Adams versus Tonga and Lizzie Evo. I've seen it myself. A really, really good show. I'd easily give it 3.5. It's just a fun show. You can go check that out right now on Powered 4 TV. But I'll tell you what I'm really looking forward to seeing soon on Powered 4 TV.
Yeah, go on. What's that?
It is Catch for Capture, which literally was this weekend. It had the final of the Catch Pro Enigma series, which I'm really looking forward to seeing it in its entirety once it is available on Powered 4 TV. But Catch for Capture itself, Lizzie Evo versus Rio for the Catch Pro Women's Championship. Tom Felwell versus Kevin Lloyd as the Enigma Series final to crown a catchweight champion. Chris Ridgway versus Brady Phillips. Dynamite Lee versus Scotty Rourke versus Joey Hayes versus Joe Kessler. The Crew versus Mater Last and Jesse Wolf. Harley Hudson versus Heidi Katrina. And I know Ivy Lucia Lee was a dark match, so that probably won't be available. But I tell you what, that Harley Hudson, Heidi Katrina sounds really, really great, as well as Tom Felwell, Kevin Lloyd. That's going to be an amazing match. Chris Ridgway, Brady Phillips, fantastic. Sorry, go.
Of course, you can watch all of this for free. All you need to do is sign up at
Powered 4
TV. Using the promo code TPOD, TEAPOD, you will get 1 month free, and then it's just $7.99 a month after that for you to watch all of the amazing British wrestling that we have just described and more.
Indeed. 1 whole free month right now. All you need to do is sign up using the promo code.
And another thing that's
TPOD.
really good on Powerful TV that I've been enjoying is some of the old 1PW shows that are on there. There's also a lot of interviews that 1PW did back in the day, which have been used and looped on YouTube for years, but it's great to have them all there ready to watch. So again, go on, have a look, use the code TPOD for 1 month free on Powerful TV.
Indeed. TPOD. TEAPOD. Back to the rest of the week right now. Friday, Barracks Pro Wrestling, BPW, Collision Collide. Friday at 26. Gabriel Lee versus Dave Del Vecchio. Benjamin Harlan versus Diamond Dave Andrews for the BPW Academy Championship. And Angus James versus Alexander Hyde.
Vortex Wrestling's Vortex's under new management takes place on the 26th of November in Slough. This will feature Clementine versus LA Taylor, plus the Rebellion, Jack Teneo and Taylor Essex versus Charles Crowley, Jordan Saeed. We'll also have Joel Redman, Eddie Ryan, Simon Miller, and many more.
Indeed. Sounds like an absolutely fantastic new promotion. Saturday, UKPW, one of our friends, United Kingdom Pro Wrestling, UKPW in Falconwood for Straight Out of Falconwood. You got the teens with attitude. Yes, Kieran Lacey and Mark True, the Power Rangers, as they take on Ava White and David Francesco. Jake O'Grady versus Mike Bird. Amira Blair versus Sapphire. Evie Madden versus Kyra Kamara for the UKPW Women's Championship. That brings an end to their championship tournament. Roy Johnson versus Simon Miller. That's going to be great. Two Good Eggs versus The Business for the UKPW Tag Team Championship. And then Dow Jones versus Alexander Roth for the UKPW Championship. Alexander Roth, has been dying to get his hands on Dow Jones.
Can we also congratulate UKPW because this show, Straight Out of Falconwood, is a sellout. Well done, guys.
Yeah, indeed. It sold out, I think, about a week back, but fantastic news for UKPW. It's great to see British wrestling sell out.
Indeed. Reckless Intent Entertainment, RIE, present Wrestling in Livingston on the 27th of November. Taylor Bryden will defend his RI UK Championship. Theodorus will take on Dickie Divers for the R1 Heavyweight Championship. Emerson Jane versus Sierra Rose for the RI Women's Championship. And Ryan Richards will make his debut. Plus, you can see Jack Morris, Sierra Rose, Caleb Valhalla, and Aspen Faith, amongst others.
And got Target Wrestling at Carlisle Station Hotel, also on Friday 27th. So you got Big Damo versus Shreddy. That's going to be big beast wrestling. I'm looking at a great one. Shady Naturals versus Martin Kirby. That's going to be amazing. Luke Ross versus Andy Wild. Ree Story versus Sammy Sparks versus Damon Havoc. That's for the High Octane Championship. And then the Spawn of Target versus Benji and Joe Rage for the Tag Team Championship.
Apex Pro Wrestling are in Bletchley, Milton Keynes on the 27th with their Celebration Stops Here match card. Daniel Felix will take on CJ Carter. Danny Duggan will take on Kyla Reese. The administration will be against Warren Banks and Dred Callier. AK versus Chavlak versus Kyle Rogers versus Ian Shane versus Mr. King. Power Project versus New Money. That's a good show over there in Milton Keynes.
Indeed. Much further south and on the other side of the coast, it is Cornish Pro Wrestling. CPW are in Bude on the 27th of November. Joey Seven versus Jason King. Jake McCloskey versus Rob Elias. The Northern Culture versus Joe Costa and Lucky. Echo Reed versus Ruby. Plus, you'll see Yeston Reeves, Carl Atlas, and Grayson Reeves.
Kumite Combat Wrestling.
Kumite.
Bless you. Kumite Combat Wrestling. For you deathmatch aficionados out there, Kumite Combat Wrestling will be on this weekend with the Cold November Pain in Derby, where there are 3 death matches on tap. The Death Wolf Championship no-ring death match, Big Effing Joe versus Tyler Devlin. A Coffin death match, Alton Thorne versus Tomby. And Big Popo Goose Troy will have an open death match challenge. That is a lot of deathmatch wrestling. I don't think there are going to be any thumbtacks available for purchase anywhere in Derby.
No. ICW presents Wrestling Experience Scotland again on the 27th. This will feature guys like BT Gunn, Jack Jester, Leighton Buzzard, Luke Cairo, Angel Hayes, Sheik El Sham, Jason Reed, and more.
Kingdom of Wrestling are in Southport for their debut with Let the Games Begin. Dave Getsky versus Lucas Neon, 2-Bit versus Matt Fox, Born Ready versus Andre Decker and Sheriff Steele, The Freak Show versus Lance Rivera and Jack Barron, Ryan Hunter versus Ethan Kelly, and Harley Hudson versus Jenny B versus Stacey Rose.
DOA Wrestling, DOA Sugar Beatdown, CJ Carter versus Peter Nixon versus Jack E. Hyde versus Brad O'Brien for the Adrenaline Championship. The Lads, Ben Jones and Alex Echo take on the Beach City Blondes, Sam Santori and Jaden Dokoa. You've also got Damien versus Danny Darko, Winston versus Charles Crowley for the Heavyweight Championship, and the Rebellion, Jack Torano and Taylor Essex versus the Heavyweight Heartbreakers. Defend
Indy Wrestling have their 10-year anniversary tournament this weekend in Cardiff, which is on both Saturday and Sunday. Featured in the tournament are Nico Angelo, Danny Jones, Nino Bryant, Chuck Mambo, TK Cooper, Josh Terry, Jay Joshua, and Michael Oku.
Indeed. And then finally on Sunday, we've got TNT Ignition. There'll be a dark match, Aurora Tevez versus Hannah Taylor. Shreddy versus Synergy, Troy Ryan Anderson Daniels versus Big Gun Joes, and the Baldy A-Words, Simon Miller and Brian Aidenson in an elimination tag match. Gia Adams versus Tonga in the last women's stand-in. Tom Felwell versus JJ Webb. Jace Alexander versus Leon Gray. Cameron Solis versus Scott Oberman in a career versus title match. Man Like Doris will be in action. Jimmy Jackson will be in action. They are fantastic. We just said Shreddy. Should we announce it as well?
Let's go for it.
We have the biggest, the most jacked, the most stacked interview special coming, as we have the most jacked and stacked wrestler in the UK right now, Shreddy. We are super looking forward to having him on. We'll actually be releasing it before the end of next week. On that, of course, we'll get him to talk about his upcoming Target match against Big Damo, as well, of course, this TNT Ignition match, as well as much more. There's so much wrestling going on, and this isn't everyone. This is just the ones I could find enough information on to report on. There are still several local promotions all across the country. Go support them. Go support British wrestling. Progress Wrestling are also on next Saturday. They're back on the WA Network. With their next show, you've got Giselle Shaw versus Debbie Keitel, Roy Johnson versus Warren Banks, Cara Noir versus G Money for the Progress Championship, Smoking Aces versus Greedy Souls for the Progress Tag Team Championship, Kid Lycos versus Chris Ridgway, and Sky Smithson and Riho has just been announced. So that is the final semi-final match of the Revelations of Divine Love tournament.
It's going to be a good show.
Indeed. Okay, so there's some further roundup. We're going to get through it super quickly. We're not going to talk about too much of it. Superstar Pro have announced 3 more matches for their Superstar Cage show on the 11th of December. Joey the Pirate versus Matt Fox versus Barry Pewett. Lucy Sky versus Harley Hudson versus Aurora Tevez. Dan Evans versus James Reed.
World Pro Wrestling, one of the latest UK promotions to sign up with Power 4 TV. Their next show will be in Cheltenham on the 19th of February, which will be an international affair announcing 3 matches so far. Tajiri versus Jody Fleisch. Too Cold Scorpio versus MVK Valcabulus for the WPW Championship. James Mason versus Andrew Anderson. And the Blood Hunter versus Joel Redman.
It's my chance to go Valgabius. But yes, we are saying that, right? That is the Tajiri. And yes, that is the Too Cold Scorpio. Anyway, moving on. Fine Nation Wrestling, Undisputed 4 on the 10th of December in Maidstone. You're going to see Corey McRae, RJ Singh, Jade Wrestler, Charles Crowley, Damon Moser, Laura Di Matteo, Giselle Shaw, and Martin Kirby.
Purpose Wrestling have announced 2 more exciting matches for their upcoming show on the 12th of December, Puppies Are Forever. You will be able to see Laura Di Matteo versus Kira Chimera and Billy Hayes versus Nico Angelo.
Indeed. Jurrasic Pro Wrestling JPW have announced the main event for their sold-out second show, Life Finds a Way, which is on the 12th of December. It is a fatal claw-way match. 4 competitors will remain. Dover Court Dragon versus Forat Hayes versus Dexter versus Nick Payne.
Wrestle Island's full card for Red Light, Green Light show on the 19th of December has been announced. You can see Dan Evans versus Warren Banks versus Cameron Solis for the Island Championship. The Red Light, Green Light Scramble, Lance Rivera versus Drill versus Big T versus Ethan Kelly versus Brian Aidenson versus Lucy Sky. Joey Hayes will be taking on Scott Overman, and the Von Englands and Harley Hudson will take on the East Midbreakers and Lucia Lee.
North Wrestling NCL, the North Anarchy Brewery once again on the 11th of December. They've added 2 more matches to their card. Man Like the Reese versus H.D. Drake, and Lana Austin versus Heidi Katrina.
DNA Pro Wrestling have announced a first-time ever singles match between Danny Black and Forrest Hayes for the 18th of December show, I Am the Danger. Plus, Tommy Kyle and Hustle Malone will be in action.
PCW have announced Festive Fury for the 17th of December at the Riva Sports Bar in Preston. The Models, the Von Engelens, the UK Hooligans, Roy Johnson, Jack Morris, Yeston Reese Wilkers, and Sheik El Sham will all be there.
Black Country Championship Wrestling have announced 2 huge matches for their upcoming show, Xmas Gimmicks, on the 3rd of December in Dudley. Luke Basham versus the man they call Wesker, and Elliot Jordan Experience versus Luke Douglas.
British Wrestling Revolution, BWR, have announced that the Underground champion Will Cruz will be defending his championship against Brady Phillips at Last Stand on the 3rd of December in Grimsby.
Ignite Wrestling Pro are in Boreham Wood, and they have unveiled their championship belt, and it is a beauty. There are some fantastic championship belts going around at the moment. There really are. On March the 6th, they'll be starting the journey to crown their first ever champion with 2 qualifier matches.
Indeed. We've got some huge matches coming up at Tidal Wrestling at the December 5th show in Huddersfield. Violence Party versus Crash Boat for the Tag Team Championship. Let's go, Crash Boat. Rio versus Natalie Skies versus for the TCW Women's Championship, and Will Cruz versus Chris Ridgway for the Heavyweight Championship. Oof,
that sounds like a banger.
Indeed. And finally, a couple of bits of news from Japan. Chris Brookes in DDT, so he has been eliminated from the DDT Grand Prix. He did not particularly do very well, only ended the series with 4 points out of his 5 matches he had. He defeated Hiroshima. He lost to Takeshita, sorry. And he lost to Okabayashi. He lost to Higuchi, and he picked up a win over Mao. The final standings of his group was Konosuke Takeshita versus on 9 points, Okabayashi on 8 points, Kazuda Higuchi on 4, Chris Brookes on 4 points, Mao on 4 points, Hiroshima on 8 points. When you look at it that way, it's not like massively bad. But only picked up 2 wins out of the 5 that were available. But and Chris Brookes, of course, representing British wrestling so well over there in DDT. I watched a few of his matches. I could only find 3 of the DDT Grand Prix shows on Wrestle Universe. I thought that was a bit strange. But I did check them out. Some phenomenal matches, particularly against Takeshita and Higuchi. Phenomenal matches. Okay, and then of course Zack Sabre Jr. is currently taking part in the New Japan World Tag League alongside his tag team partner Tai Chi as the Amazing Dangerous Tekkers. They are actually the IWGP Tag Team Champions currently. They've got 3 wins with no losses so far. So they top the league alongside Tanahashi and Yano, and Naito and Sanada, all on 6 points. And then you've got Goto and Yoshihashi on 4 points, Okan and Hinari on 4 points. The GOD are on 4 points. Bad Luck Fale and Kevin Owens. Owens are on 4 points. Tenzin and Kojima are on 2 points. Makabe and Honma yet to pick up any points. Nagata and Tiger Mask yet to pick up any points. Suzuki and Taka Michinoku, Minoru Suzuki and Taka Michinoku also 0 points. I love the fact that there's some Tiger Mask in there and Taka Michinoku, but these guys, this is probably the weakest World Tag League I've seen in a long time. There is seriously, so many great tag teams out there, and they decided to go, Minoru Suzuki and Taka Michinoku, Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask, who collectively are probably well into the 100 years old together. Makabe and Honma, Tenzin and Kojima. It's just not a good World Tag League. But Zack Sabre Jr. is doing so well over there so far, alongside Tai Chi's Dangerous Tekkers. 3 wins in 3 matches, and they top the league, as I say, with Naito and Sanada, as well as Tanahashi and Yano. So, but again, been some fantastic matches so far. Go check them out on NGPW World. Before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'd like to say, please do follow us on Twitter at TNTightsPod, where we try and keep everybody updated throughout the week. Please do go to Powered 4 TV, type in TPod and get yourself a month's free British wrestling. And please, everybody, do listen to our next statement from Mr. Andrew Moore.
Yes, don't feed the trolls.